Hi, and welcome to this AI in C# video about Microsoft Agent Framework and our continued series about tool calling, where we will now look at how you can actually do tool calls into an MCP server. MCPs are, of course, this hyped thing right now, with good reason, to be honest, because they are incredibly powerful in that instead of you making the tool calling in your own code, you can reach out to various MCP servers and get their information without you needing to write anything else. Beyond that, I will not go into what MCP servers are and how they work. There are separate videos for that on my channel, but let's get into how you actually use it inside the agent framework. And it's actually incredible easily, because if we look in our NuGet packages, we have had a few things from OpenAI and Azure OpenAI, but now we just need one more NuGet package, which is the Model Context Protocol. And once we have that, we are good to go. Because the way it works is, we have seen in the advanced and basic videos of the tool in that we can give an AI agent tools, but when we needed to get them from an MCP client, so we need to be an MCP client to connect to an MCP server, we just need to make the client, get the tools, and put them into the framework, and it will take care of the rest. So when we need to make a client, we use the MCP client method, where we say create an async. In my case, I'm using a remote MCP server, but local MCP servers can also be used that runs on your own system where you run some commands. But in my case, I'm actually using the remote GitHub MCP server, the official one. So I'm just saying MCP server.create a sync with HTTP client transport, and the transport node should be streamable HTTP. The endpoint should be what GitHub have provided, so this URL. And in order to use this MCP server, we need some authorization. There's multiple authorization methods, OAuth and personal access tokens. In this case, I'm using a personal access token. And if you need a personal access token at some point in your system, you simply go to GitHub, you go into your settings, and you go down into developer settings and get a fine-grained token, generate a new token, give it a name, an expiration, and what repositories you would like it to have access to. Only your public repositories, all your repositories, the private ones, and what permissions you need to give it. So once you have one of those, I've just made one with public access, we get an MCP client. And on an MCP client, we can say list tools. And those tools are MCP client tools. But the cool thing about it is that these tools are actually just have the base class of AI tools, which is the ones we need down here. So we simply just get the tools and we cast them to AI tools, and we're good to go. Rest of this code is exactly the same as we have seen before. And we don't need to care about if the tools are from us or from someone else. So let's set a breakpoint here and run the code and see what we can do. So we make our client. So now we have a handshake between the server and us, and we can list the tools that it provides, and it provides 105 different tools. Create pull requests, delete files, get issues, and so on and so forth. And then we just take the tools, convert them, and we have our agent. So if we wanted to ask some things, we can ask how many open issues are there on Microsoft/Agents framework? And now it will call the tool list issues from with owner Microsoft and repo this, state open and so on. And it came back and said there was 235. So in the old days, I would have needed to grab hold of the GitHub the GitHub NuGet package, write some code, to expose it as a tool, but now I just import their tool. So I could, for example, say list the ones that mention MCP. And we'll figure out what issues there are now. Of course, this is a public preview, so there is open issues, and some of them are in Python, some of them are in .NET. But the main part is we didn't write a single line of code in order to work together with GitHub. And it could have been the Playwright MCP, it could have been the Context7 MCP, it could have been your own MCP that you have exposed somewhere. And it just fits in with these few lines of code, and we are ready and up and running. So again, it is incredibly easy. So a short one for you today, and see you in the next one.